Rural Ramu school says TFF not working. First reptile learning centre for PNG.
To get up close and touch a snake as well.
And Telecom's 4G LTE service a hit.
This is National MTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for the first day of June 2017. Bosmun village sits along one of the many tributaries of the Ramu River. It is a collection of hamlets and communities facing the constant struggle of giving children good education and health despite relative isolation from Medan. Its primary school, set up by the Catholic missionaries decades ago, still thrives today. However, government funding support needed for textbooks and infrastructure has come in amounts unable to sustain the school for long periods. Many in the community say tuition fee-free education isn't working for them. Even if the school charged school fees, many parents would not be able to pay.
Outside of Medan, not many people hear about Bosmun. It's a community tucked away along a tributary of the Ramu River, a place rich in culture and a strong sense of identity and independence of rural Papua New Guinea. The Bosmuns were once headhunters. It is part of their history, recorded by missionaries and early historians. They carry with them that warrior spirit even in the 21st century. As the communities grow, the challenges become more complex. It's an 8-hour journey from Medan to the nearest boat stop and 30 minutes by boat up the Ramu River into one of its tributaries. In places like this, the government's free education policy isn't working as it should. At the Catholic Agency School, the principal tells the real story about the tuition fee-free education.
Through TFF come to so let me download to mas. Only promise to give me so money enough lo ketere mo ko ta pikinini or so mo tok 200 kina pay sumatin, but then this all money wo ko come into account and download to mas. We mean na blo. Kissing me play go na blo require time to finish.
You don't need to be a math teacher to understand that the schools in this area are barely surviving.
The exercise book, we play game one time so lol pikinini na time books bloli finish me talk you play at buy more books because we plan na blo finding books lo game we play.
TFF comes in dribs and drabs. Members of the community say they feel left out. It's as if the education system here, so far away from Waigani, is being drip-fed by irregular, insufficient funding. TFF doesn't pay for the cost of road or boat transport. In fact, the TFF money is equivalent to a small fraction of the total cost of travel and transport from Medan to Bosmun.
The boat, it's 50 kina one way go lo town, higher 1,200 or semi talk penis. Na come back again 2,000 lo come back again 100 kina lo boat because one plug around and 50 na come back 50. So it's expensive through the transport.
Boat operator Lazarus Bugam sees the difficulties every day. Each trip by road costs a minimum of 1,000 kina one way, and he has to contend with the ever-increasing cost of boat fuel.
Some schools no got moto. Nemalo buy mol something belong school na. Lo transportation lo transport mol something belong school come go come. Only the moto na petrol na. This TFF money to I think milikol sem liglik mas.
About 100 kilometers away along the Medan coast and along the main highway, the situation is more critical. At the primary school at Tokain village, they haven't seen TFF money since 2014. Local leaders like Alfred Kaket are angered by the delay.
People belum pernah. Oliles larin sa talk free education. Now yet milek talk clear straight. People currently school belum pernah because you know got TFF. For last 3 years, eminokisim. That's why now people, last week, now this Friday, only working fundraise yet long. Salim, headmaster, want to board member, I must all go straight long. What must be go Waigani, looking why school blom, I need this free education policy belong government. I mean, kisimsla TFF.
We don't have water tanks and classrooms here. No water tanks. Our classrooms are all run down. Our teachers run down. We need maintenance. But to do all this maintenance, we need money. There is no money.
As school continues, both communities and their principals say there isn't any guarantee that they will complete the full academic year. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Medan.
The Modelon General Hospital in Medan is experiencing an increase in the number of drug-resistant tuberculosis patients. Physician of Modelon Hospital, Dr. Weston Yambut, says they are seeing more patients coming from the 6 districts to get treatment, as most of the health facilities in the 6 districts in Medan are not functioning.
Modelon Hospital's physician Dr. Weston Yambut says since 2009 up till 2016, they registered at least 40 cases. This year, they only registered 4 drug-resistant TB patients. Yambut says although the number is small, the risk of transmitting the TB bacteria to another person is still high.
With the increasing number of TB cases that we get, not only from within the town vicinity, but we do get a lot of cases from the 6 districts of Medan. Even we get patients coming in from Sipik and Highlands coming in just to get treated.
The increase in the number of drug-resistant TB patients is happening because many patients do not complete their TB treatment. Another problem is the limited bed space for TB patients to use. Dr. Yambut says they only start the TB treatment and after that they are forced to send patients home to continue their treatment. However, when these patients return to their community, most of them cannot continue treatment as the nearest health facility to them is no longer in operation.
Most of our facilities outside the 6 districts are not really functional. So we do get patients here at the hospital, we diagnose them, we start them on TB treatment. But when they go out back to their communities to continue and complete, because we can't keep them here, we got only a limited number of beds here, we can't keep all TB patients here.
Tuberculosis is a bacteria transmitted by air from an infected person. It is a disease that has become a major concern not only in Medan but the rest of PNG. But in Medan, it is a problem that is on the rise. Last month, Modelon Hospital CEO Christine Gawi told the people of Medan the hospital is cutting down on its operational cost. This is because of the financial difficulties the hospital is currently facing. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Medan.
Port Moresby Nature Park is set to open its first reptile learning and training centre in the coming months. Nature Park General Manager Michelle McGeorge said the centre will be a reptile precinct where Papua New Guineans can learn more about the different reptile species in the country. McGeorge added the centre will also contribute to the study of creating more anti-venom to treat snake bites and stings.
Many Papua New Guineans do not know the different types of snake species in the country. Ask anyone what the most dangerous snake in the country is and they'll say the Papuan black. While the Papuan black is one of the most deadly snakes, there is more to know about this reptile, and the team at Port Moresby Nature Park are working around the clock to make that happen.
So a lot of people have heard of Papuan blacks and taipans, but a lot of people also think that most people are bitten by Papuan blacks, but actually research shows us that most people are bitten by taipans. So a lot of what we want to do is just educate the community about how to be aware of snakes and also to what to do if you get bitten, and most importantly how to prevent getting bitten.
Once completed, the Reptile Learning Centre will be a one-stop learning centre where Papua New Guineans can learn more about the different types of reptiles in the country.
And we're also hoping to feature some monitor lizards, turtles and some frog species as well. So it's going to be a really fantastic precinct, never done in PNG before, so it'll take us another couple of months to do it, but the snakes are coming, everybody, so hopefully when we get that built we'll see great numbers coming out to have a look.
In the long run, Ms. McGeorge says the centre will help contribute to develop more anti-venom for treating snake bites and stings.
We have had some discussions with the Snake Initiative program, which do the anti-venin at POM General Hospital and the University of Papua New Guinea, regarding whether or not we may be able to set up some facilities here so that they could actually demonstrate to the public how they do milk for the anti-venom. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we may have an exhibit set up for that. But we're also planning to introduce things like a snake presentation so people can come out and maybe have the chance to get up close and touch a snake as well.
PNG is known for having some of the world's most poisonous snakes, and people must be aware on how to avoid them and, most importantly, identify them.
And so that reptile centre will be all about educating people on particularly snake safety, on what to do if you come across a snake, but also to just making people be aware that snakes actually have a really important role to play in the environment.
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the Port Moresby Nature Park opened its new commercial kitchen this morning. The kitchen will improve Nature Park services to its clients and in return help the park to be more self-sustaining. Park General Manager Michelle McGeorge thanked the sponsors of the kitchen facility and said the park will now be able to provide on-site catering for large functions, including large tour groups visiting the park.
Today we opened our new commercial kitchen for the nature park. We just keep growing from strength to strength. We've got some great events happening. We've also got people that come out and have picnics, and what we really want to be able to do is cater for everybody. So this commercial kitchen will be able to make us cater more to our guests, be able to put in more food, and also to hopefully make the nature park more self-sustaining.
Papua New Guinea-owned telecommunications company Telecom is regaining market share through its 4G LTE network. Today, the state-owned entity opened a new kiosk in Port Moresby's Vision City with the distributors of Oppo mobile phones. The kiosk creates visibility for Telecom 4G LTE, which has become a hit with the younger consumers. Bethany Herman reports.
Telecom has taken leaps into the 21st century with its 4G LTE network. Today, the state-owned entity opened a kiosk at Vision City. Though its competitors have already done this, Telecom now has brand visibility in Port Moresby's busiest shopping center. Its management says the internet services couldn't be any faster or cheaper.
In the Vision City, it's a prime location. We're going to do similar thing to other shop in a shop concept that we're doing. This one is the franchise with concept.
Telecom's national retails manager Amos Tapi says Telecom is moving with the younger market segment who demand information faster and cheaper.
Our range is cheapest at the moment and compared with any other mobile companies in the country.
The kiosk at Vision City is part of a deal that puts Telecom in a strategic location to gain market share through visibility. The kiosk operates with ComServe, the distributor of Oppo mobile devices, and Telecom will be providing the compatible SIM cards. It's understood that Telecom will concentrate on the network and not handsets, cutting significant cost in device inventory and distribution. Telecom's management aims to open many more around Port Moresby and throughout the country. If the SOE succeeds, Telecom may gain a huge market share from younger customers by using existing infrastructures to roll out its 4G LTE network. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
The Cocoa Board of Papua New Guinea, the country's cocoa regulatory body, says PNG Cocoa has improved in its production by 20%. The improvement was spurred by research intervention and awareness programs carried out within the industry. PNG Cocoa Board says although PNG contributes only 1% to the world market, the quality still stands out from the rest of the world. Edwin Fidelis reports.
Cocoa production in Papua New Guinea has been a liability to many farmers in recent years after the cocoa pot borer disease almost crippled the industry. About 30,000 tons were exported every year to meet the overseas demands in the pre-CPB days. But that rate has dropped when farmers' confidence in the crop began to dip when the cocoa port borough became their main competitor, and it slashed the total production and export by half. But last year and this year, the cocoa industry is slowly beginning to see some positive changes at least. Claire Parrick, the Cocoa Board Economics Manager, says PNG Cocoa has made improvements unlike before.
In terms of exports, we've exported last year a total of 41,175 metric tons of cocoa overseas. That's good for the industry because it's a 20% increase from the previous year.
The improvement has been spurred by research and development programs that educate farmers about better farm management techniques against the cocoa disease.
This increase is due to all the major intervention programs that's been carried out in the industry by the government and government agencies like Cocoa Board, and also our development partners and stakeholders in the industry, including the private sector.
Last week, the PNG Cocoa Board and its partners hosted the PNG Cocoa Warwagira Festival in Kokopo, an event that intended to promote and encourage cocoa farmers to continue producing quality cocoa. Cocoa farmers know all too well that their battle against CPB will never end, but organizations like the PNG Cocoa Board and its sister organizations know they have answers to assist farmers produce quality output, and more so, to put the farmers ahead of the battle against the notorious plant disease. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
EMTV, in partnership with CPL, hosted the successful screening of its latest film documentary, Farming PNG, last night at the Paradise Cinema. The 75-minute documentary featured the nitty-gritty processes behind the labels of our premier coffee and beef and honey products, the potential of commodity exports such as oil palm and cocoa, and an insight to budding industries like the biomass industry. According to viewers, it proved an eye-opener with a touch of humor the audience clearly enjoyed. While the film got great reviews from viewers in terms of content and production quality, some believe EMTV had the potential to deliver even better in film production.
It's opened my eyes, to what is actually happening in the different sectors like oil palm and other bits and pieces, and the cocoa and all that sort of stuff.
I was more privileged to see some of the areas, like especially in the oil palm industry, where they're into promoting green energy, which is more fascinating.
It can trigger a lot of Papua New Guineans to at least understand that one seed does make a difference.
Quality television and also photography. It was fantastic.
Probably the sound might, not really, as compared to other documentaries where you have a good sound system coming on board. But overall it's well done and well produced. And I would like to see more of that.
The Investment Promotion Authority made a decision to waive penalty fees for the reinstatement of companies that were deregistered from 1989 to 2015 in the autonomous region of Bougainville. Acting Managing Director of IPA, Clarence Hood, says this is a tough decision that the IPA board took, considering Bougainville went through a civil war that affected business operations. The decision is welcoming news for business operators in the autonomous region.
Good news for the almost 2,000 companies which were deregistered as a result of the Bougainville Civil War. The penalty fees will be waived. This decision was effected as a result of awareness conducted by the Investment Promotion Authority last year in the autonomous region of Bougainville that revealed companies were deregistered due to non-compliance with the filing of company annual returns.
And as such, the cost to since not operating, they have been strike off the list of registered entities by the Register of Companies, and this approach is now to assist those businesses to get them back onto the registered list of companies with the IPA.
The cost of rehabilitating businesses in the autonomous region of Bougainville looks promising, and the Investment Promotion Authority believes this decision will help to improve Bougainville's internal revenue.
Also important that these businesses are assisted and they get back on track so they can get involved in the economic activities of the region and contribute through taxation, both in Bougainville and in Papua New Guinea as a whole, and also create employment opportunities for our youth. As you know, the gap of 10 years has left a lot of our youths being unable to go to school, and they need these opportunities to be offered to them as a form of assistance to get them back in the formal economy.
Companies have welcomed this announcement and thanked the Investment Promotion Authority for realizing the potential of business practices.
News, I think it will give reassurance and confidence back to business houses to work again, comply with IPA and get themselves back on their feet and push forward our economy of Bougainville. And I'd like to thank IPA.
The Investment Promotion Authority is now calling on companies and business name owners to contact the IPA head office in Port Moresby and the regional office in Boca to facilitate the reinstatement of their entities. In Boca, Fabian Haklitz, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. A few former PNG Rugby League internationals are contesting this year's elections. They include Bruce Mamando for Goilala Open and Eddie Isla for Mosby Northwest. Isla runs a consultancy firm and has a background in business. He said bribery and foul play must not influence the voting population this time around.
Eddie Isla runs his own business consulting firm and wants to empower Papua New Guineans achieve their dreams. He has been campaigning unnoticed in and around the Northwest electorate of Port Moresby. In an interview with EMTV News, the independent candidate says PNG is at the crossroad with its level of service delivery as a third world country. Isla says campaigning in past elections has been different, but bribery and paying for votes remain a practice.
Now that kind of thinking is going to keep you and I in this kind of crisis, in this corruption cycle, in this greed cycle in Papua New Guinea for the next 5, 10, 15 years. And only you and I know what that's going to feel like.
Like many other intending candidates and political parties, the war on words surrounding the country's declining economy and leadership remains a point of discussion. The former Kumu representative says PNG must now refocus its areas of investment.
We need to change how we invest, economically, we need to change our fiscal policy and how we invest in industry and infrastructure throughout Papua New Guinea. We need to build our fisheries industry, our tourism industry, our agriculture. These are sectors that need to be developed.
Isla's key policies include investment in agriculture sector, creation of employment, access to better health, among others. Isla says it's not the elected leaders who will make development a reality, but those who will be casting the votes.
So the challenge is, take back your life, get serious about where you want to go, so that Papua New Guinea can rise, so that you can rise, you can have more money in your bank account, so that you can be self-sustainable. And that's everything that we're talking about.
Jack Lepave Jr., National EMTV News.
Sitting Kairukuhiri MP Peter Som continues his election trail tonight at Gaire Village in Central Province. The sitting MP will be talking about his policies to a very critical audience. Som is contesting under the National Alliance banner. EMTV understands that he has stiff competition from People's National Congress candidate Paru Aihi as well as others. Former councillors in Western Highlands Province want recognition from the government. They and their families have petitioned Hagen Open MP William Duma that if he wins this election, he must table this in Parliament. The former councillors felt their hard work in maintaining peace, law and order in the community were wasted.
The former councillors and families of those councillors who have passed away have petitioned Hagen Open MP William Duma to endorse them and bring their grievances to the floor of Parliament if he wins this election. From the petition, they want the government to pass a bill for former councillors to receive pension or allowances as recognition of their hard work.
That's all. One person something me look him that bell blow me pen, time meeting him in day blow power blow me. Every ocean. Only walk out, government in look at one look survey on this now. Look survey through. Only walk out.
In the colonial government, a councillor's job is like a tool in Luluwai, who were appointed as village headmen, working with patrol officers and were responsible for maintaining law and order in the village. Some of the former councillors and their family members who petitioned Duma were former Toltol and Lolowais. They say that they were too busy doing community service, and when their terms were up, they ended up having no guidance or savings to look after their own families. Duma told them that it will be too early to promise them now, but encouraged them that he will not forget them if he wins.
Law members, they got pension system where time you may lose him office and government supporting law pension. So you look law national level, law LG level and one can something. So believe me and fair na good la passion law people working more government before you come now when you mean recognize him all councillors.
If Duma gets into the parliament this year and table these, the former councillors and their families from other provinces might as well benefit. Vasenata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
PNG Power says Mount Hagen will see a reduction in power outages. A PNG Power team and contractors have commissioned a new 4-megawatt diesel generator at Dobel substation in Mount Hagen. The 4-megawatt diesel generator will supply power whenever there is a shortfall at Ramu Hydropower Station in the Eastern Highlands and Pawanda Hydropower Station in the Western Highlands, or if there are transmission problems on the lines. Another 6-megawatt generation will also be added next month to increase capacity, which should meet Mount Hagen and Jiwaka's load. Acting PNG Power CEO Alex Owa says customers in Mount Hagen who have outstanding bills must pay up, as running the generators are very costly. Hundreds have been left homeless after their houses were destroyed by bulldozers authorized by a business firm and police to evict the residents living close to Jackson's airport. 10 trade stores and 5 poultry projects were also destroyed, along with semi-permanent houses and permanent houses. Godwin Eki reports.
A day after the eviction and losing their livelihoods, families are still coming to terms with losing their homes, businesses and anything that was once treasured. Today, women and children carry timber, metal sheets and posts to anywhere they can find as they wait, hoping to hear good news. Community leader Paul Kopp says the eviction came as a surprise on Tuesday to a community that only had women and children at 2 p.m. while men were out doing their selling or at work. He said despite having the directive from Assistant Police Commissioner Sylvester Clout and the court order, the only missing document was the eviction notice that wasn't cited as proof of eviction.
I'm not giving him one eviction notice, like 7 days or 14 days, where maybe I can pick him up or something, but Monday only handed on decision long, we're going to courthouse, and then Tuesday, only some bulldozer come, well, maybe I go to Solna, all the rest of the sun, so 1,014 man, Mary, all get maybe stop number, maybe some people back up.
Paul says the majority of the people affected are from Southern Highlands, while others are from Morobe, Goilala, Chimbu, Enga and local Motu Koitabuans. While it is clear the eviction process would occur any time, victims of the eviction say at least a warning would have been given or eviction notice of 1 to 2 weeks. This displaced community lost 400 blocks of 218 homes, 5 chicken projects that had a total of 6,000 chickens and 10 trade stores that are no longer to be seen. Left vulnerable, mothers say children that are attending secondary and primary schools in NCD will not be able to attend.
600 school beginning, so plenty of staff upper primary school, some staff high school, some staff legal elementary school, but all of them are staying around here because we have no home to.
A widow and mother of 6, Regina Peter, says the only asset that belonged to her family was the house her husband had built for her.
Na house blomi and bipla house, so all come louse him. Na me no got one pla house and line do helping me. Big daughter blomi tas all come now and kisim hama louse him all get a kappa. Na all get something and mos me pla come and me no go out now. Me come tas all want all beginning blomi, all beginning in go to school or day one coming up now. So me stop or me be plus or me by go one.
and City Governor Powes Pakop is aware of the matter and has arranged some assistance. While the earth movers and police were on the site, families were still trying to make ends meet. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
And now a look at the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3145 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.307, $0.4108 Australian dollars, $0.2701 euro, and 33.7 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, and copra are trading lower, while cocoa closed the day higher. Palm oil and copper closed the day lower, while crude oil closed higher. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed 20 points lower, the ASX closed 9 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed 7 points higher. Here with National EMTV News, we'll have more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Papua New Guinea is one step closer to local dairy production. The innovative agro-industry has plans to have a range of locally produced quality dairy products on supermarket shelves in Port Moresby by October this year. IAI Chairman Elon Weiss said much support has been received from both Nakia and the Department of Agriculture and Livestock.
515 Holstein dairy cows arrived in Port Moresby from premium New Zealand herds and range in age from 13 to 20 months. The cows were given all necessary vaccinations and some underwent artificial insemination in Taupo. The cows were moved to their new home, Illimore Farms, in specially modified containers, where they will undergo the quarantine process under the supervision of Nakia officers. The dairy project, valued at $400 million, is a joint venture between AIA, Central Province Government, and the national government. The agreement between Nakia and the New Zealand government was reached through collaborated efforts of all parties. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
Turning overseas now, at least 90 people have died and another 400 injured in a massive car bomb in the Afghan capital. The blast happened in Kabul's normally secure diplomatic quarter.
Miles away, the force of this explosion. A massive bomb at a busy Kabul intersection, hitting commuters on their way to work, children on their way to school. It was a bomb so powerful it shattered windows up to a mile away, leaving a trail of horrific destruction. One witness said it was like an earthquake. There were so many casualties, security vehicles had to double up as ambulances. The Afghan government said hospitals in the capital were in dire need of blood.
I was working in the office when a powerful blast happened. I collapsed under the desk and received injuries from shattered windows.
Most of the dead and injured were civilians, including many women and children. Among those killed is Mohammed Nazir, who worked for the BBC as a driver. The BBC said he was a popular colleague with a young family. The area where the bomb went off is supposed to be one of the most secure parts of the capital, walking distance from the presidential palace. And even in a country that's become painfully used to violence, the scale of this attack has been a shock. Afghan intelligence are blaming an affiliate of the Taliban, the Haqqani network, but no group has yet admitted to carrying out one of the worst attacks Kabul has ever seen.
Here with National EMTV News, Trukai Sports is up next. We have a big lineup, including last night's State of Origin Game 1 result. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. To the State of Origin Game 1 last night, the tables turned on Queensland when New South Wales took to the field at Suncorp Stadium in front of over 50,000 onlookers in Game 1 of this year's State of Origin series. The home side managed to get one try home, but that was all they could get on the scoreboard.
For Milford. Here we go.
It was already hinted prior to the game by critics the Blues will walk away with a win. But who would have thought the margin would be 24 points? With the absence of Jonathan Thurston, Greg Inglis and Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk alone with Anthony Milford could not pull off wonders for the Maroons. The opening try for the Blues came in the 6th minute when a Fifita Pierce assist saw James Maloney go over the try line right under the post.
It's a try! It's a try!
Minutes later, another try followed. The Queenslanders responded with a try, but that was all the fight they could do for the scoreline. At halftime, the score stood at 12-4 in favour of New South Wales.
Down at the southern end of the ground.
The second half saw attacks from the home side that went begging. New South Wales pulled off saves and put up walls of defence that kept them off Blues try line despite tremendous efforts from the likes of Cronk and Milford. 3 more Blues tries occurred and no response from the Queenslanders. In the dying minutes of the match, Darius Boyd's attempt at lessening the margin failed, thanks to a Boyd corner classic save that held off the Maroons from scoring. By the full-time buzzer, the scoreline stood at 28-4 in favour of the Blues. That was the Blues' biggest win ever in Origins history. Dina Rose Raiko, National EMTV Sports.
The SBPD Hunters will take on North's Devils this weekend in Brisbane, Australia. The SB Hunters have been in the first place on the Queensland Intra-Super Cup competition points ladder for the past 2 weeks.
Coming from the National Stadium in Port Moresby.
The SBPD Hunters have been sitting comfortably on top of the ISC competition points ladder for 2 weeks, followed by the Sunshine Coast Falcons and the Redcliffe Dolphins. This weekend they faced the North's Devils. They played the Devils in round 4 at the National Football Stadium, a match they lost. The Hunters will try to capitalise on their big wins over the Ipswich Jets and the Blackhawks. Devils currently sit on 7th place on the ISC points ladder. There are no injury concerns for the Hunters, with all players fit and ready for the second half of the competition. Coach Michael Marum has stuck with the same team lineup from last week. Winger Blander Bavu will play his 50th game for the Hunters after joining the team in 2015. Marum will confirm his final travelling 18-man team on Friday. The SB Hunters travel to Brisbane on Saturday for Sunday's 3 p.m. game at Bishop Park. Elijah Lavette, National EMTV Sports.
To football, the Papua New Guinea under-19 women's football team will face defending champions New Zealand after they were drawn into positions 1 and 2 respectively. The OFC Under-19 Women's Championship will take place in Auckland, New Zealand next month, with 6 participating teams from around the Pacific.
The 6 teams taking part in July's OFC Under-19 Women's Championship has been outlined following the official draw. PNG will line up against defending champs New Zealand in the round-robin tournament, which will run from 11 to 24th of July and is being hosted by Oceania Football Confederation in Auckland. OFC Competition Director Chris Camp said it will be a thrilling way to open the tournament in what is traditionally the region's 2 strongest sides, setting the tone for the competition. Camp added that while New Zealand has a strong record in this age group, other nations have made women's football development a priority, and this tournament will see some competitive matches come July. Drawn into positions 3 and 4 were Tonga and Fiji, who will meet in match day 1. Rounding out the opening day's action will be Samoa and New Caledonia, positioned 5 and 6 respectively. Samoa earned their best result at under-20 women's level in 2015 when they finished runners-up to New Zealand in the round-robin event in Tonga. The OFC Under-19 Women's Championship is being held at Auckland, New Zealand from 11 to 24th of July 2017. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
The Oceania Football Confederation has clarified recent statements alleging FIFA owing the Papua New Guinea Sports Foundation money for the hiring of stadium facilities during the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. An OFC media release has a statement saying this was not the case.
This is not about me. PNG Sports Foundation Chairman Graham Osborne, in a local daily article earlier this week, said FIFA is a wealthy organization and they owed money to the Sir John Guy Stadium and other venues, therefore they have to make commitment to pay. However, FIFA, through Oceania Football Confederation, has said that when a country wishes to host a FIFA tournament, the government must provide a written guarantee that they will provide the necessary infrastructure to host such a tournament. When Papua New Guinea Football Association agreed to bid and to host the tournament last year, they did so based on such a written guarantee they received, signed by the Papua New Guinea Sports Foundation on behalf of the government, stating that the PNG government would provide the necessary infrastructure for the tournament. OFC has claimed that this commitment was confirmed by a resolution of National Executive Council, who also guaranteed funds to the Sports Foundation and further endorsed by the Prime Minister. The PNG Football Association estimated that the government has provided approximately 67 million kina to the Sports Foundation to construct and renovate the necessary stadium, training grounds and related facilities to be used during the tournament. Meanwhile, Osborne said it seems that FIFA has been making excuses about why they shouldn't pay. Oceania Football Confederation further claimed that because of the delay by the PNG Sports Foundation to complete the construction and in particular the renovation of the pitches at the three stadiums used during the tournament, PNG Football Association incurred cost of 800,000 kina. Claims by PNG Sports Foundation are misleading and factually incorrect. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Cricket PNG is the proud recipient of a 150,000 kina sponsorship from SP Brewery. This marks a renewal of SP Brewery's sponsorship to Cricket PNG, as it was previously an active sponsor. Present to accept the sponsorship was Cricket PNG CEO Greg Campbell, who said this support will go a long way with Cricket PNG's 2017 endeavours, especially the national team's international fixtures.
As Cricket PNG take on more challenges in the remaining part of the year, the 150,000 sponsorship from SP will go towards supporting the national men's and women's teams as well as the under-19 national team. With the Laos and the Barramundi success rate in the fixtures they have played in the last 12 months, both internationally and locally, SP Laga Senior Brand Manager Josh Willis said it only reflects CPNG's good governance.
We at SPB Brewery obviously have a long history of supporting sport in Papua New Guinea, and we see it as a real opportunity for the community and the new generation coming through to be the best they can be. And working with Cricket PNG, they're developing not just the game here, but developing great people. So our opportunity to work with Greg, Guyan and the team at Cricket PNG means that we continue to be a big part of the community of sport in Papua New Guinea.
Cricket PNG CEO Greg Campbell was pleased with SP Brewery's generosity, saying this will put CPNG and the Barramundis in a good position to play Scotland in round 6, and going from strength to strength over the years, Cricket PNG's community outreach programs, mainly under the development program, has been nothing but exceptional.
We're very grateful with SP Brewery what they do, and this money goes into a lot of different areas. It goes into our grassroots, it goes into helping our teams be more professional, and mainly to support the brand of SP, how good a brand it is in this country and how good a brand and it's recognised around the world. And we're very grateful to everyone, and especially Stan and Josh and his crew, that they can see the money's going to a good cause, and we are giving it back to children in this country. Not the beer, but the money that we send in, it goes back to grassroots, and it brings our next generation of cricketers through to keep the international scene going.
This incentive will also cater for the Hebo Shield, Cricket PNG's first-class competition coming up in a week or two. Dinero Strico, National EMTV Sports.
4 NCD female bodybuilders have encouraged more women to take part in bodybuilding. They will be competing in the national championships this weekend in Goroka.
16-year-old Sarah Martin, who will be competing in the 52 kg division during the national championships, is the youngest in her team. She says she joined bodybuilding to show young women and girls in PNG women can participate in the code.
So I took up in this sport because just to show women that they can do anything. It's not only men, because mostly this sport, it's only for men.
It will be Sarah's first national championships, and she's looking forward to the experience.
It will be my first time to travel out and compete in another province.
Gina Peel, a long-time bodybuilder, has taken on the initiative to teach women in Port Moresby the skills of bodybuilding. She's been training women in the NCD Bodybuilding Association to help prepare for the upcoming PNG Games in Kimbe.
I'm training them to
take part in the upcoming PNG Games, which will be on November this year. I'm training them to take part in that, but since the national championship is coming up this month, next month, I told my girls that this will be their first step, or they'll get to know what bodybuilding code is all about.
She called on more women to take up the sport.
Yes, actually, I like more girls to take part. Well, I'm here to train them and help them to be competitive in bodybuilding.
Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. Up next, the weather details. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Here's a look at the weather for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Mostly fine in Port Moresby, Daru and Altau. Cloudy weather expected in Kerema and Popondetta. To the Momase region, becoming cloudy for Ley and Wau. Mostly fine in Medan, Wewak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine in Lorengau and Kavieng. Becoming cloudy in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe. Showers and thunderstorms in Buka. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, mostly fine weather expected over the next 24 hours.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's the way it is this Thursday, the 1st of June 2017. From the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.